Hi, this is Jamie Vada from Real Energy Holistic Health. Last week I was asked to create a video on how to carry toddlers in proper alignment to reduce wear and tear on the hip joints and the pelvis. My son was so excited to help out this morning, so I'll start by showing a snippet of our demonstration, and then I'll guide you through some exercises to strengthen and mobilize the hip joints and the muscles surrounding the hips, and also to strengthen the arms. Sebastian, can I pick you up? Okay. So if I pick up Sebastian, it's easy for me to carry him with my hip jutted out, but this isn't so great for my hips. So I want to practice pulling my hips in and using my abdominal muscles and the strength of my arms to carry him. Now this might mean switching positions often, switching sides, like this, right? Carrying in the front, making sure that I'm not sticking my hips out this way now to carry him, but keeping my hips out over my heels. Or, want to show the new back carry that we like to do, the piggyback where you stand on my hands? Okay. Or this is fun for older kids. Ready? So it's a piggyback, but then they push up while you hold on to their feet. So they're using their legs, and it's not quite so much work for your arms. Most shoes, even flats, have a slight heel to them. So what this does is it pitches the body forward. Instead of weight evenly distributed on my feet, I'd have to lean forward towards my toes. My knees bend to help keep me upright, and I press my hips forward into the ligaments to keep my body upright. If I wear high heels, this is even more pronounced. Instead of walking with flat feet straight ahead, with hips level, when I'm pitched forward with knees bent, I have to lift my hips with each step. So here, instead of using the muscles on my outer thighs, I'm using the ligaments, which over time leads to wear and tear. Also, when I'm standing around, I find that I have this habit, most of us do, of leaning into the ligament because the strength of the muscles just isn't there. Or brushing teeth, leaning forward into the counter while brushing instead of shifting weight back in proper alignment and using the muscles to stand. So let's try an experiment. Hop up and down a few times to find your natural stance, and then engage your quads. Just take a moment to notice where you feel the engagement in your legs. If you have a block, grab it, and if not, you can just pretend that you have a block. And let's practice this in proper alignment. So first, turn your toes slightly in towards each other so that the outer edges of your feet are parallel. Stick the block between your thighs and shift your weight back into your heels, which will bring your knees above your ankles. Check to see that your hips are also above your knees. Now, externally rotate your thighs by squeezing the block forward like a Pez dispenser. You may notice here that your big toes lift up off the ground. That's totally fine. Now, engage your quads. Notice where your muscles are called on to work. Can you feel the pulling on the outer edges of your hips? These are the muscles that will stabilize you when you walk, when you carry children, when you brush your teeth, when you chop at the counter. These are really important muscles to wake up. So relax and practice squeezing and external rotation. Now the squeeze is not coming from your backside, it's coming from the outside of your thighs. Now relax that and remove the block. Jump a few times to go back to natural stance and engage your quads. Do you notice now that the muscles on the front of your thighs are working and there's not much going on here? So this time, see if you can line up without using the block and engage your quads again. So turn your feet in. The outer edges of your feet will be parallel. Shift your weight back to your heels so knees are above ankles, hips are above knees. And imagine sending that block forward by externally rotating your thighs. Now there's a little bit of engagement when you do this, but then squeeze to really engage those abductor muscles on the outsides of your thighs. Relax and squeeze again. So this in and of itself is a great exercise for hip strengthening. Now, let's add another one. This is called the pelvic list. The first step of the pelvic list is simply shifting side to side without letting your hip jut out. So your knees are straight, you're not bending your knees. So the weight is still in the back of your heels, and you just shift side to side. And if you're doing this incorrectly, it's going to look like this with a hip hike. You're not lifting up from your hip, you're pressing down through the standing leg. You can practice pressing through the standing leg and letting the other leg begin to swing a little bit. This is actually easier if you have a block, so you can practice it stepping up on a block. So press in to send the hip in towards your thigh, and then let your other leg dangle. If you do this and just let your dangling leg swing for a little bit, it's a nice gentle hip opener while strengthening the outer hip of the standing leg. And then you would switch sides. And then if you want to make it even more challenging, let me grab my loop. You can use an exercise band made into a loop, or this is the loop from my Muchu System kit. You put the band around your ankles. I'll do my other leg this time. Step onto the block, so you do the pelvic list, and then bring your foot out to the side. This actually strengthens both thighs at the same time. Now I'm going to show you my favorite exercise for strengthening arms and legs at the same time. You want to know how to engage your pelvic floor and transverse abdominal muscles before doing this exercise. So if you don't know, the pelvic floor is a hammock that runs from your pubic bone to your tailbone. So it's this whole area front to back between your legs. In order to engage it, imagine a gentle lifting up through that area. Then your transverse abdominal muscles wrap around from your back all the way to your front. To engage these, imagine zipping up a tight pair of pants. So it's just a gentle pulling in. And as you pull in here, you may feel your lower back flatten just a little bit. It's not a huge move, but just a little bit. Now, practice drawing up and in at the same time, engaging pelvic floor and transverse abdominals together. So by maintaining a slight engagement here, you'll protect your pelvic floor, you'll protect your core from too much pressure, and you'll protect your lower back. You'll want weights for this exercise, or you can practice it without weights to start. So to begin, come into a lunge, or in yoga, it's called Warrior One. Your knee will line up over your ankle, and if you externally rotate your thigh, that ensures that the knee is not pressing in towards the center of your body. Let me show you that here. So if my knee is pushing in, I want to externally rotate my thigh to hold my knee in place over my ankle. And this also engages the outer thigh muscles. Back toes press into the earth. Bend your back knee to set the pelvis in place. And then begin to straighten your back leg without moving the pelvis. Lean forward with a straight back at about a 30-degree angle so that the back forms a line with the back leg. Check to be sure that you have your pelvic floor and transverse abdominals gently engaged. And then on an exhale, bring the weights back behind you with straight arms. Inhale, lower the weights down. Exhale, bring them out to the side. Inhale down. Exhale in front of you. Inhale down. Exhale back. Inhale down. Exhale out. Inhale down. Exhale forward. Inhale down. Then when you're ready to switch, switch sides. So the same thing, make sure your knee is tracking over your ankle by externally rotating your thigh. Press in through your back toes with the heel lifted off the floor. Bend your knee to set the pelvis so that the bony points at the top of your pelvis are in a vertical plane with your pubic bone. And then begin to straighten the knee without moving the pelvis. Lean forward with a straight back. Exhale the weights behind you. Inhale down. Exhale to the side. Inhale down. Exhale forward. Inhale down. I'll just show you that once from the front. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this helpful.